Welcome to How You Livin', a transformative podcast featuring best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and minister, Dr. Rick Rigsby. And now, Dr. Rick.
Hello, friends. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to discuss a very important aspect of any kind of sustained success. That aspect is living by a code of conduct. I rank a code that guides daily activity right up there with critical trademarks of success like influence and resilience and wisdom. A code of conduct. It's a practical reminder, a reminder of what we stand for, a reminder of what's important to us and why we must behave a certain way. A code of conduct serves as an accountability system, loudly whispering where we should draw the line and making it clear what we're not willing to compromise. Friends, I can't imagine a pilot without a flight plan. I cannot imagine a coach without a game plan or a physician without a treatment plan for patients. But yet, many of us begin our day, every day, with no plan, no direction, no reminder of behaviors that ought to guide us, no list of behaviors that we will not tolerate. Now, I don't want you to diminish for one moment the importance of making good daily decisions all throughout the day, or the importance of communicating clearly and with goodwill. I mean, think about it. On a daily basis, we have a lot of interactions, whether we're giving orders or responding to instructions or functioning as a team member or dealing with conflict. Just consider the following. The average person has 12 social interactions per day, 27 conversations in a day. The average office worker receives an average of 120 emails every single day, sends out about 40. On Twitter, across the world, we tweet 6,000 times per second. It's 500 million tweets per day. Friends, I don't know about you, but I need a guide. I need something that guides my every step, something that helps me choose my words carefully, something that's consistent with my core values, something that orders my behavior. I need a daily code, a code of conduct. This code reinforces ethical beliefs. This code functions like a moral compass. It frames the day with actions consistent with my values. When we act in a moral and ethical way, in other words, when our actions reflect our values, we build a robust foundation for good behavior. The results? We thoughtfully consider our responses. We carefully choose our words. We actually become the designers and the architects of good behavior. I want you to consider the aggregation of marginal gain for a moment. This is where small incremental improvements daily result in seismic changes. What if our daily thinking and speaking and practices were all anchored by a concrete code of conduct? I firmly believe the outcome would be a foundation of good judgment, which leads to good decisions. You know, most of us connected with codes at an early age, whether secret codes on radio and television or clubhouse codes in the neighborhood. I can recall when I first connected with codes. It was back in the 60s. That's when I was first introduced to scouting as a Cub Scout and then eventually as a Boy Scout. I still remember how we opened each den meeting. Now, admittedly, I love den meetings for two reasons: cookies and the soft drink. But I took pride in reciting that code, a code that we Cub Scouts live by, the Cub Scout Pledge. Our code went like this: on my honor, I promise to do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, to be square, and to obey the laws of the pack. Now, the language of the 60s may be a bit antiquated today, but without question, the meaning remains rock solid. I remember not only reciting the pledge with pride, But we Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts took those pledges seriously. In Cub Scouts, we'd recite the words at school and all throughout the week. We meant it. We lived it, and our lives reflected it. And then the later years, high school and college, many of us drifted. We drifted from our parents' teachings. We drifted from the wisdom of community elders. We no longer recited a Scout's pledge, and we choose to live any way we wanted. After all, it was the 70s now. Roller disco parties, 8-track tapes, and Atari. It was all about me and making sure I was well cared for and well nourished and, above all, entertained. And our songs and slogans told the entire story in the 70s. Listen to this, friends. In one short decade, we literally went from, on my honor, I promise to do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, all the way to McDonald's telling us that we deserve a break today, Burger King encouraging us to have it our way, to Coca-Cola asking us to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. Yeah. To Dr. Pepper admonishing us to not just drink the soft drink, but to be a pepper. You see, friends, it was more than an ad. Dr. Pepper advocated a hot and spicy life, and who didn't want to be a pepper? After all, we were becoming the Pepsi generation. You've got a life to live, and Pepsi's got a lot to give. That's a far cry from my promise to do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, to be square, and to obey the laws of the pack. Friends, I have to tell you something, and I think that this is very important. I want you to just imagine living our life based on just the first few words of the Cub Scout pledge, on my honor. You imagine living your life like that? Imagine living your life every single day where honor was the core that shaped every word that came out of your mouth and every action that you participated in. You see, it would change everything. It would reshape even how we respond to conflict. For example, rather than having an argument, we'd have disagreements. You see, the goal of an argument is to win, it's to take something. But the goal of a disagreement is to further understanding, to share something. Friends, it's okay to disagree. Dissension moves a society forward. But it is not okay to practice what many of us do today. We injure others based solely on differing opinions. When did opposing opinions become a reason to insult or injure or even kill? This is not honorable behavior. Honor is defined as high respect. Honor is defined as something of great esteem. Friends, listen to the pledge for the Brownies and the Girl Scouts. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Once again, on my honor, I will serve. I will help people. How would your life change today if your code of conduct had honor at its core? I make the argument that everything would change, absolutely everything. Every interaction, every conversation, every disagreement, every email, every tweet, every post, everything would change. So allow me to offer this homework assignment. I want you to make up your own code. That's right. Make up your own code and make sure that honor is part of that code. And then I want you to do this. Recite your code to yourself every morning. Every single morning, and I want you to do this for the next 7 days, for 1 week. Friends, you just might be amazed at the impact that you will have on others. I want to continue talking about codes of conduct in a future podcast. I want to share with you some codes that are as old as the Old West. Be on the lookout for Code 2.0. Well, friends, that's going to do it for this episode. Until we meet again, this is Dr. Rick asking the most important question I can ask. How you living?
Are you ready to make an impact in your world right now? Do you want to stop existing and start living your best life right now? Dr. Rick wants to give you the first chapter of his best-selling book, Lessons from a Third Grade Dropout, absolutely free. Just go to www.rickrigsby.com/free gift to get the print or audiobook right now.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.